Hello, hello. I'm FruUtter, Mrs. Utter. Now we are going to continue with furnishing of the infamous Salem Witch House in Salem, Massachusetts. It's creepy, it's scary, and it should be reflected in the interior as well as exterior.
Let's peek through the windows of the house from the outside. Sneaking is a quite nice way of passing time.
There we see the bed, and we see the green room, and we have the painting bedroom, and we go inside and we look around. And it looks quite beautiful, doesn't it? And we continue to walk through the secret passage into the beautiful bedroom. Just wonderfully made. Yes, why shouldn't we say that? I mean, so. And now it's this part we are going to furnish on the first floor. So there is this part, and first step was to remove all the clutter from the space which I'm going to furnish, and it took some time, I have to admit. So now I wanted to divide the room, the all U-shaped room, into several rooms. So I began with a smaller room that could be an office or something like that for a little witch or two. Could be a secret room actually, and now I'm going to do something similar on the other side of the room. But first I wanted to divide the middle room, which will be without windows unfortunately. And now I'm making this other sort of library room maybe, or it will be an office or something like that. And it was hard to decide which room I could begin with, and I had to get inspiration from the house and especially the interior. So I checked on Google naturally and looked at some pictures, always very refreshing, and I found out that the Tudor style could be suitable, so that we could have some variation, upstairs and downstairs. It should be a bit different. And I love to play with this Tudor ornament or wall painting or whatever it is covering. So I had some fun. And as you see, I just do not put the same or two different. I put several different patterns. So I'll create some drama, some atmosphere, some playfulness, and some symmetry as well, that we should not forget. Symmetry is quite important for a good room or a house or whatever it is. Even a sim, I mean. Well, it doesn't have to be a cute sim, but it has to be a proportional sim, if you see my meaning. The same with the rooms and everything. So this is how I played around a bit. And I also always have to remember that I'm going to decorate the room with some paintings as well, so I should not have too many decors that are hard to combine with the rest. And I also did some changes in the kitchen, as you can see, to make it more dramatic, and but I changed the color. I didn't choose the same sort of dark brown one, otherwise it would clash with the chosen color on the fireplace, and we do not want things to look strange, do we? No, we don't. Or do we? Yes, sometimes. Well, being strange, I mean, what is being strange? Nothing, really. Yeah, you see, and I think all the time and I test all the time, you know, what is best for this and what is best for that. And now I found out that, you know, there were too much ornaments on the wall, so I had to remove it. And then I felt satisfied, it seems, so I went for the floor coverings. And as you see, I do my rooms all at the same time, because that is the best way in my opinion, so that you keep the same style. So it becomes clean. Clean doesn't really mean that you have to be minimalistic or, you know, to everything having the same color, especially in white. That is just misunderstanding of the meaning of the cleanness in the design. What they mean by clean design, clean lines, is that you just keep the same style. That is the most important part. You have to keep the same style, you have to be consequent, and you have just to like choose items that are suitable for the style you are choosing. And also I did some secret doors, naturally, because I love it so much. There cannot be too many secrets around. And now I made this secret shelf room where you can actually go into the secret little office or whatever it will be. And I use some very simple wall covering from some panels from the base pack, and it was quite easy. So, and I all the time have to remove things, because some of them I have to I like it and I want to keep them, but I can't keep everything, and before I decide I just have to keep them. That's quite exhausting, and finding the right texture and right color is also quite exhausting, as you can see. So, but I'm going to go very murky even here, and very dark and musty and a bit rustic and weathered. Naturally, it has to be weathered. And also here you just have to experiment all the time. Experiment. You will not get far if you do not experiment, simply. And yes, I wanted to have some sideboards as well, or tables, or whatever they are. And I do not think that it's suitable with too many paintings or decorations, wall decors in this room, because as you see, the panels are already like making sort of decoration, so you should not break it, right? The carpet was a pain to find, I have to admit. But, oh well, at last I gave up and I started with some furnishing. Or some furniture, some furniture. And I really wanted to use the vampire pack here, but you know, it's something with the vampire pack furniture. It doesn't really look old or, you know, weathered or something. It just looks sort of plastic, some plywood. I'm sorry, yes, I said it, I'm sorry. And then I wanted to have this plant, you see, the one in the corner. I really wanted to use it, but it just takes up too much space, and if you are not using Moo, you are just in trouble with this plant. Yeah, now comes the carpet, and I really want to put something with color in it, and I chose this one first, then I decided maybe not, but then in the end I chose this one. It's very bright, yes, but it suits this room, and after that I naturally had to make the contrast a bit brighter, so I had to change the color of the furniture. And now comes the hunt for the best clutter ever. which is also quite difficult sometimes. Because what did they have? What sort of clutter did they have when they had no money most of the time, no food, and a lot of witchcraft things? Well, coffee cups maybe? Well, they didn't maybe have a whole service, but they maybe had some, well, they didn't have mugs, that I can tell you. They did have nice cups, but they were simple, and probably if they had any like teapot and matching, you know, plates and stuff, then they were used very seldom. And now, as you see, my hunt for the best plant is going on. And that was an expedition in itself, like to the North Pole, I have to admit. Because it's not always when you do not use moo as I do. Yes, 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 I should use moo, but we are not going to get into that discussion, no. Well, where was I? Yes, with moo. If you don't use moo, you just have to take into consideration all the, you know, space and all the corners and all the small things when it comes to space. Can you put it here or can you not? And as you saw, I just couldn't place the chessboard wherever I liked. Unfortunately, for me that is. But as I have said before, and I'm going to repeat myself, I find this way, and the way is not doing moo, more adventurous maybe. But it's sometimes really hard, as I said before. And you can't place things wherever you want, and especially if it's plants and such. So now I'm trying to find a place for a few decorations, and I chose this mysterious little book. I love those, really. And I placed them wherever I find it suitable. And as you see, I really try to place something in that corner with the 3 plants, but it just didn't work. So I got tired and placed some plates instead. I love those plates very much, and it's from the parenting pack, I think. And still that corner, you know, with the plants is just so boring. But I wanted to have some green things around, but then I just noticed that nothing really worked in there. You couldn't place I don't know, a chair, or just could have nothing there. So I started to move around things and test. So I thought maybe I place some table over there, and we could place some chair as well. This is how I found this chair. You know, I was like squawking about that we didn't really have any chairs that could remind us of 17th or early 18th century or something like that. But then I found these chairs, and you saw them. But it was still, it's hard to place, as you see, anything in that corner. So my next decision was to start to remove them simply and place something else. But before that, I decided to find the chests, you know, the small chests that are from the base game pack. And I just experimented where I could place them and which I'm going to choose and so on. And as you see, I moved them inside the house in the different places. So I haven't like given up on that plant, which I like very much. It's from season pack, I think, but I really had to move it somewhere else because now we just had no space left for anything else, just a plant, and it just looked strange. It was hard to find a rug or a carpet, and finally I found something. And all the time compare with the rest of the house. As you see now, I changed the floor. I added a decoration, and sometimes I know that I'm going to change a few things, which I'm already planning now that I'm going to change. I'm sure of it. And here is the little library next to the well, it counts as right office on the right side, and this one was quite easy to furnish, apart from the windows. I wanted to have the fireplace, but you know, windows were everywhere, and I thought, well, what should I choose now? And that plant, I still wanted it to be there. I'm just so stubborn, you know. I don't want to give up easily. And then I'd probably get tired of the library room, so I went into the office room and tried to do some changes to cheer me up. Also, I made some changes in the small witch room, but I was not really sure if I'm going to choose that color in the end or not. And experimenting, as I said, I really wanted to keep this one, you know, that textile thing, but it, well, you will see it didn't really work in the end. It was too bright for the time period. And sometimes I place these textiles as curtains, and it works very nicely, in my opinion. They cover the window, and it's just marvelous. And sometimes you do not. Now you see the problem with enlarging things. I enlarged one of the plants outside, and now I just cannot place anything because it's in the way for the cupboard. But I moved it. And you don't always have to place your furniture straight, you know, along the walls. You can experiment quite a lot. It will be more fun that way. I wanted to place something there over the fireplace to cover the window, but as you can see, nothing really fits. I tried everything, to be honest, but I was not at all pleased. And I was complaining about myself for not using Moo at this particular moment. Yes, I did. And I'm happy we have these, you know, undo functions. So yes, otherwise I think it would be very, very hard to do all these changes at the same time. Actually, I really got tired of myself, and I thought, well, why don't I just, you know, do something simple and just quit all these experimentation things? But on the other hand, that's what Sims about, you know, break the design rules and have some fun and just experiment. And finally, I think I get very pleased with this setting with some very velvety curtains. And I usually place shelves everywhere because I like it very much. Shelves are really underrated in this game. You can do so much with the shelves. They can be a decoration for you, and then it can be like also you can place a lot of stuff. Or cobwebs, naturally, we just have to place cobwebs all over the place. But now I also noticed that the shelves, you know, not next to the windows or those windows, it's on from here, it's the right side, those close to the stairs, that the Sims will not be able to pass them. It's also a typical thing, you know, your rooms just have to work. Sims should be able to go upstairs or downstairs, so I just had to remove the shelves. And I placed books around, and as you see, you can place in the bookshelves, you can place some nice decorations, either books or even lamps, some smaller lamps. And on the shelves you can just, as I did now in the bookshelves, you just placed the lamps, and it gives very nice atmosphere. So this is how you can play. And I chose the same chairs I used in the living room, but then I changed my mind and chose these ones that could actually be from the 17th century or 18th century as well, for that matter. And I thought I will make something very simple in the office. Nothing special. I will make some cauldron room later, I thought. But you see, I work with all the house at the same time, and I move around and I decide, make decisions while I'm doing it. And now I decided to remove the shelves, because I just realized this will just not work. And no curtains are possible to place naturally, so I chose these very simple. But sometimes you can place a curtain around a painting or something, and it gives a very nice atmosphere, and some plants naturally. What else do we have here? Now the dining room. I really wanted to be a dining room. And it also could be a ballroom, but, well, I mean, I really wish we had these, you know, music from the older days, not only, and the dance steps. Like if you have a waltz, why can't we have a waltz? We should have a waltz, in my opinion. But it's probably too much to ask, I guess. Don't you think so? But sometimes we should. As a customer, you really should ask for things. You should not be afraid. No, you should not. I know it's difficult, certainly, but you know. You have to train, probably. Yeah, right. This, you know, romantic little bucket with with some wine or champagne, whatever it is. I placed it up in the bedroom. And what else do we have here? This skeleton I just placed over there. And you know, that was an idea I got. I just placed the skeleton, and then suddenly I got the idea, all right, this will be a skeleton room. That will be a scary little place where our witch or wizard or whatever it is, and you know I like to call them witches, all of them, from the Rosemary's Baby. So our witch can go and do some reading in front of the skeleton. Why not?
The conclusion is, while you are working on the whole house, you will get a better idea. So let your hair down. Now, I thank you for watching. Join me on Twitter and Tumblr and Origin and everything else, and it's FruUtter naturally.
Don't do too much witching. And happy, happy simming.